What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 7 of Becoming Different. I'm very excited to talk about today the Empro results of the Spain show, what a typical shoulder day looks like for me, making announcements about myself, and other things that are going along with the pro bodybuilding. So, with that being said, let's get into the video. Hope you guys enjoy it. The Empro Spain results are in, and Michael Cruzo won. I predicted him winning. Everyone did pretty much. I don't think anyone really had him getting upset, but came in there and did his business. So what do I think of his physique, placing, all of it? Definitely deserved to win. His physique, unbelievable, head to toe. He looked really good. He needs more glutes. He needs more ass. I know some homo shit, but my bad, y'all. He needs more ass. If you look at his quads, look at his hamstring, look at his calves, they look amazing, but if you don't got the glutes to back up the hamstring, calves, and quads, your physique's gonna shift in balance, and that's what he needed. His posing needs to be worked a little bit. Like, he still needs to work on it. He's still shaking, especially there's a video on Instagram. He was shaking doing a side chest and side try. Like, I think the side shots are some of the easiest to hold compared to, like, I think the hardest poses to hold are back double, and I think abs and thighs are two of the hardest poses to really hold, and he held those two relatively well compared to the sides. So I think you just need to practice his side posing, and he could be a top 10 Olympia. I still have him in my top 7. I still see him in the top 7. I don't think there's much that he needs to do from now to the Olympia minus get bigger glutes, get bigger back, and keep developing to really stop him from placing in that top 10, hopefully that top 7. And with that being said, what is my least favorite day to train? I typically do not enjoy training back or legs. So, context of why I don't like training back is because my job at the warehouse job I have was just taxing on my body because you're just lifting heavy packages all day. And pretty much these packages weigh between 0 pounds and 150 pounds. And I was lifting them very, very easily. It wasn't really a struggle for me. I've grown to, like, really just was good at the job. And it makes back day a little unenjoyable because you're always sore in your back when you work. And then the reason why legs became unenjoyable to me is because, one, I'm training one leg at a time, and two, I haven't trained my legs consistently in such a long period of time since prep that every leg training is extremely hard for me, and I don't really go heavy because I am not as strong in my legs as other body parts I do. But my legs still overall look very well, so I can kind of get away with not training them as hard. On Texas Pro coming up, man, we got quite a matchup. We got Andrew Jack versus Hunter Labrada. They're both looking like their all-time best. They're both coming in hot. One of them is going to come out on top. Who would it be? It's probably going to be Andrew Jack. He has a better genetics, better structure. Hunter has just as good of the X-frame as Andrew Jack, but Andrew Jack's just much taller. Hunter Labrada's like 5'8", 5'9". Andrew Jack's like 6'1", 6'2". Maybe 6'2", even a half. Very tall bodybuilder. Hunter, I think, is in the 270s, and I think Andrew's in like the 290s right now. But someone's going to come on top. But the reason why Hunter is doing Texas versus Andrew is because he's going to probably qualify 2 weeks prior at Tampa. He's probably going to win the Tampa Pro. I don't know anybody that's doing it personally yet, but I think that show's like 7 weeks away, and if he wins that, he's automatically qualified for the Olympia. So I think he just wants to prove a statement at Texas. But Hunter did beat Andrew last year at the Olympia. It was 7th versus 8th, even though the judges kind of gifted Hunter that placing. It's not awful. But our next topic is, why do certain bodybuilders get overlooked? I think people get overlooked because of their way that they attract the audience, okay? Some people, it's just unfortunate by human nature, you're attracted to other people's physiques. Like, the reason why Derek Lunsford, Nick Walker, Samson, Andrew, and Hottie, their physiques are, like, attracted towards. Like, everyone wants to go and be like them. Have that is because of their likability, their persona, their personality, and other people like Hussam Mustafa, Charles Griffin, Brent Wilkin, Quinn Beastwood. Certain people just get overlooked because they don't have the persona, they don't have the personality, they don't have the fan base. And there's a lot of adversity that goes into that because, you know, you have these bodybuilders that are so good but unknown, like Steve Kuklo. A lot of people don't even know who Steve Kuklo is, but he's been competing for almost 20 years as a pro. And with competing 20 years as a pro, he's really not as well known as like Nick Walker. I guarantee if you go up to the average bodybuilding fan, they would know Nick Walker before they know Steve Kukla, or they would say Nick Walker before Ian Valier. They'd be like, "Oh, who's your favorite open bodybuilder?" They would say someone within probably the top 10 range at the Olympia. They wouldn't say someone outside of the Olympia unless they were that big of a major fan of them. And so that's why I think certain bodybuilders get overlooked. It's just because of your personality, your placings, your fan base, and everything in between. So next topic is a typical shoulder day, what it looks like. So I go into shoulder day knowing that I'm attacking my front, my side, and my rear delts. All three. And first thing I like to do is do some type of shoulder press. I don't care if it's a shoulder press machine. I don't care if it's dumbbell shoulder presses. I typically like to do 15 to 20 range for reps. And that's if I'm doing plate loaded. And if I'm doing dumbbells, I typically do between 10 and 15 reps. So I think the heavier you go, the better, because you want to basically put more density in your shoulders. When it comes to bodybuilding, I think your shoulders are your biggest point of, like, they need to be bigger because they're the illusion. They're the biggest part of your illusion besides your waist and your big legs and your back and all that. It's just how wide you are. And so this is what I do to try to build wider shoulders. I start with like a shoulder press, and like for example, last week I got to like 85 for 10, and that was good. I had my boy Andrew give me elbow raises, so he kind of helped me on that. But I got 85s for 10, and it was really good. With the 85 for 10 though, I warmed up with like 30s for like 15, and then I went into 50s for 15, and then I went straight into the 85s because I felt good. Just do how you feel is what I always say. Like if you feel good in a warm up, go for it. If you don't feel good in your warm up, don't go for it. And with that, you just really get good contraction, get good reps, solid form, and you'll really feel in your shoulders. So the next movement, I typically do some type of lateral raise if I just do the dumbbells or if I do a machine. But just some type of lateral raise. Get between, again, 15, 20 reps. Sometimes I even go 25 reps. It just depends how I feel. But my intensity is everything when it comes to shoulders. I think intensity on certain muscle groups will cause growth over time compared to just doing some reps. With the intensity of doing like 15, 20 reps of lateral raises or any other exercise, that's what builds muscle, because you're putting so much stress underneath your muscle over time, because it just needs to break and repair, and that's how you build muscle. And so I typically would do like 3 sets of 15 to 20 reps, maybe even a 4th set if I have to. And then I typically will bend, like lean over, and then I'll start hitting the rear delt flies with dumbbells. And I usually do, again, a 15 to 25 rep range. I probably don't do more than like 20-pound dumbbells, because you don't have to go super heavy on rear delts to affect them. You just have to train them really well, because it's a very neglected body part. And as well as being a neglected body part, you have to train it, because just because you can't see it doesn't mean you can't train it. You know, a lot of people don't develop their rear delts, and then they don't have really impressive physiques because they don't look lights out in every shot. And I think rear delts is a difference between being lights out from front to back and just being lights out from the front. So after I do the dumbbell rear delt flies, I'll typically go into like a cable lateral, one arm at a time. I like to do a 12 to 15 rep range. You don't have to go heavy. It's a very humbling machine. So when I do like 20 pounds or 16 pounds or 11 pounds on it, and I'm just doing the raises, and I'm only doing like that, again, that 12 to 15 rep range, don't be discouraged you're not doing that much weight. It's a really hard exercise, and the weight you do doesn't matter. It's how you do the weight. It's the intensity of the weight. It's the form. It's the range of motion. It's the tempo. There's so much other factors than just what weight you do. Yeah, I say you go heavy on the dumbbell presses, but that's just because it's your big compound movement. You're going fresh out of the gate. It's your first movement. Go heavy, because you're going to be the most fresh at the beginning of your workout. That's why. So typically I do that 12 to 15 with the laterals, and by then my shoulders are pretty cooked on for the most part. And then I'll go into like a rear delt fly, and the rear delt fly machine, so it's the opposite of the pec deck, and that's will be my 8 to 12 rep ranges. So usually I'll take one exercise and I'll put an 8 to 12 rep range on it, but go a little heavier. And so that's what rear delt is, and I'll go maybe like 70, maybe 90 pounds. If I'm really feeling it, maybe 100 pounds. But you gotta do really good form and really good reps. And that 8 to 12 rep range is crucial, because I think between that, or you can do cable crossovers like this, basically, and target rear delts. And those are the two ways you can use them. I like doing both, but not back to back, but like do one, do a front, and then come back and do rear, or do that, front, rear, some type of order like that. I typically do 3 in the rear, 2 in the lateral, 2 in the front for training, because I want to develop my rear as best I can. So I would typically do the 8 to 12, I said, in the reverse pec deck, and then I go into some upright rows, and I typically do like a set of 10 to 15, maybe 2 sets. I don't have to do that much volume and that much sets, but it really burns. And then I'll go finish out with some rear delts with the cables and then cross them. And by the time I hit all that, my shoulders are cooked and they're fried, and then I have a good shoulder pump. And you don't have to, do a million exercises for your muscles. 2 to 3 exercises per body part is more than enough to build quality muscle over time. And so for that, it's just how it works. So, will Regan Grimes ever make the top 10 at Olympia again? My answer is no. So here's a few reasons why it's going to be no. 1, competition is too heavy. 2, he spent so many years switching between classic and open. They never built that foundation to the point where he's going to be an Olympia name. I think his best placing was 2020. I think it was like 14th or 15th. I don't remember the exact placing. It's been 3 years almost. And he just hasn't been the same since. And I think when he lost to Sean Clarita at that Legion Sports Festival in 2021, I think that really just beat him. I think that that made him lose a lot of confidence. If I lost someone like that, I would lose a lot of confidence in myself. So I do understand how he feels. He always looks big at the house in the off season, but it never really equates to the stage. And I think that's his biggest problem. So what would I do if I was Regan? I would go one more year all in and try everything I can. And if I don't succeed, I quit. Or I really would downsize for like classic. Otherwise, it's just not worth it, because he's like 6 foot tall. He ain't short. He ain't small. He's like 300 pounds. Like, if he really, I know I'm saying 220 is a weight class, but if he really has to downsize to go be classic, and he did that over and over again, it really does instrumental damage to you over time. And I think he did a lot of damage to Regan. And so that's why his physique is, I'm not saying lacking, but it's not where it needs to be a top 10 at the Olympia. So the most underrated bodybuilder I have going into the Open is Patrick Johnson. He placed 13th last year, and I never heard anyone say a word about him. No bodybuilding channels talks about him. No one really talks about him. He trains at Oxygen Gym with Abdullah, the same coach as Brandon Curry. Man, if anyone can come up and just sweep some competition and no one even knows who they are, Patrick Johnson. No one's even talking about him. He has such round muscle bellies, and he's only been doing it such a short time. Kind of reminds me of Phil Heath in like 2010 when he was like the rookie and everyone else was like veterans around him. Dexter, Dennis, Branch, Jay, Kai, like everyone looked like veterans, and then he's like the newbie. That's kind of what Patrick Johnson is, even though he was 13th last year. He has every potential to be a top 8 guy. I'm not sure if he can get top 8 this year, but he has a lot of potential to be like a great bodybuilder. He has the structure, he has the genetics, he has the muscle bellies, he has the work ethic. I think his front is something I haven't seen on many open bodybuilders. And I think that if he improves his backside and to match his front, he is the most dangerous person that no one will see coming. So I'm going to teach you 5 tips of common courtesy at the gym. First tip comes from last week when I was pressing 10-pound dumbbells for 10. And I needed to put them away. And a dude was curling with 15s in front of the 110 placement. And I needed to put them there. And he didn't move. Okay. So if 2 people are carrying dumbbells, okay, whoever holds the heavier dumbbell gets to go first. I don't care if you're holding 100 and the other one's holding 95s. You go first. Whoever holds the heavier dumbbell goes first. My second piece of advice is don't walk in front of someone in the mirror when you're working to grab your dumbbells. Go around them. Just be a nice person. Go around them. You don't want to block off their view because they can be in their set, they can be in their zone. It's also, you want to be a nice person. You don't have to be a dickhead to everybody. Okay? You can have that I'm pissed off attitude, but you can also be a gentleman about it by having a pissed off attitude. And that's something I strive to be because you have a pissed off attitude when you're in the gym. But try to be a good person. Don't be an asshole. So the third thing I'm going to do is, the third tip I'm going to give is know when to go up to someone and ask them for how many sets they've left. Don't be in the middle of their set. Don't be let's say they're doing cable flies. Don't go up to them when they're in the middle of their 15th rep on cable flies and talking to them like how many sets you got left. Wait till they're done with their set, then go up to them before they go on their phone. That's going to be the next point. Before they go on their phone and ask them, hey, how many sets you have left? And then they can give your answer. Because that's why I don't like commercial gyms so much, is because how long I have to wait for machines in between each set. And how annoying it can be. So tip number 4, stop being on your fucking phone all day. I cannot stand people that are on their phones all day. Like, when I'm at the gym, I'm not on my phone. If I'm on my phone, I'm changing a song. That's it. Like, you don't need to be on your phone at the gym. Stop texting people in between sets. Stop taking selfies on Snapchat. Like, just get in there and work. If you really are putting that work in, people will notice. You don't need to take the pictures. People will notice how you look. I mean, I take pictures myself, but I do it at the end of my workouts. I don't just be in the middle of my workouts taking pictures. No, I wait till I'm satisfied, until I get that pump, until I get what I want, how I look. And then I go take the pictures. And then my 5th common courtesy is know when to lift with proper form. I saw a dude, 140 pound, scrawny kid. He had like 80-pound dumbbells in his hand. He couldn't press them. Either ask someone for help to press them, or don't press them at all because you can't. Okay? There's a difference if you can try to get them up and then you fail to get them up. But if you can't even like throw them up to begin with, just get a spotter. There's nothing wrong with getting a spotter. I will go and spot you. Come up to me. Hey, bro, I need your elbows. I need you to lift my elbows up. No problem. I got you. Right? You can go up to the people that are bigger than you in the gym and you can go ask them to help you. And, and that's not insulting. I'm not trying to insult him saying that he needs to go up to people to help him. But if you're going to do the heavier weights that are your body weight, or even more than your body weight, you gotta be careful. You gotta know. Like watching Charles Griffin, when I saw him tear part of his pec, like a very small pec tear, that scared me. I was like, oh, like if it happened to a pro, it could happen to anybody. If it happened to me, it could happen to anybody. If it happened to you, it could happen to anybody. At any moment, you can get an injury just by being unsafe. So I suggest people to get a spotter when you're in your heavy movements if you can't handle it. If you can handle it, go for it. But that's how I feel. These are 5 common courtesies you can do at the gym. So the next thing is Bullfrog Nutrition in Savannah, Ohio is having a huge event on July 15th. I will be there. I'm going in line. I'm going to see the people. There's Jay Cutler. There's Guy Cicerino. There's Dorian Hamilton. There's Goob. There's Joey Swole. There's Gains by Goose. There's so many different people. And, for example, Joey Swole, I remember idolizing him when I was like a teenager in high school. And then I'm like, oh my god, I get to see him. Because as someone who's going bald and seeing a bald jack guy, you're like, I want to look like that. That's how I feel personally. And I would love to look like Joey Swole. If I look like Joey Swole, I'd be so excited, so happy. Then Goob, he's like an internet, phenom where he just exposes everybody. And he's strong. He's so strong and he exposes people. while being strong. And he doubled down, he backs up everything he says, and he's just as good as he can be. And then you have Jordan Hamilton, who is the coach of Antoine Vaillant, the owner of HD Muscle, and he is going to be there. You know, he has a very, very good company. That company is also signed by Nick Walker, Quinn Beastwood, and other people. And then you have, I told you, Jay Cutler, former Mr. Olympia, 4-time Mr. Olympia winner, 3-time Arnold Classic. You know, I met him last year. I met him in my bodybuilding show. Very good to see him. And then Guy Cicerino. And a lot of people probably don't know this because they watch the Mute in the Mouth, which is their podcast for Nick Walker and Guy Cicerino. That's probably how people are going to know him. But most people don't know that he was actually a competitive pro in the 212, and he was very, very good. He placed 6th as best. I think his best place in Olympia was 6th, which is still an amazing placing at the Olympia. And even though he has been known over time to be hot-headed in his videos, like in videos I've seen of him, he's a very good person, like a very nice gentleman in person. So there are only like 9 or 10 pro shows left for the IFBB calendar. I think there's Orlando, Tampa, Texas, Chicago, Vancouver, Spain, France, and Legion. And I'm not sure there's any others besides the Olympics, of course. And so the qualifications are running down. Last year we had near 30 guys, maybe even over 30 guys. I think it was like 32 guys at the Mr. Olympia last year. And then this year we'll probably only see like 18, which is good. We need to have lower amount. I don't think any more than 20 should be at Olympia. You should get your 1 through 16, and then 5 people tied for 16 because they're the last call out, right? So that's how I see it. You know, cut it off at 20, but you really don't want to cut it off because more competitors the better. But it's not better for the live stream because the live stream last year was audaciously long. I was up to like 3 in the morning and I was tired as hell, and that shit was awful on the East Coast. So that's how I feel personally about it. But what's better, cables, dumbbells, free weights, or machines? So it's a combination of everything. You have to use a little bit of everything for your physique to sculpt it, because although you work out Planet Fitness, you don't really get the access to free weights as much as you get access to free weights at a commercial gym or a private gym. So I suggest a little bit of everything, like you do a little bit of cable work, a little bit of dumbbell work if you need it for the body part, a little bit of machine work, and a little bit of free weight work. You know, you can still build a physique sculpture by any of these 4 methods, but a combination of all of them in your workouts is optimal for building the best physique. So the best genetics in open bodybuilding right now is either Derek Lunsford or Andrew Jack. I can't tell which one I would rather be, like from a genetic standpoint. Either Derek Lunsford from the idea of how balanced and how small his waist is to the shoulder, or is it Andrew Jack with his over glaring amount of muscle with like a polished look to it that looks like, as he calls himself, the Mona Lisa of bodybuilding. So it's a debate. I like to move into the next segment. Guys, this is Old School Labs Vintage Brawn. This is my new favorite flavor. I just finished a container. It's called Mint Chocolate Chip. I used to make mint chocolate chip ice cream every day. Now I'm making lemon cheesecake ice cream every day at the moment. But this stuff is phenomenal. It has 50 grams of protein almost, has 2 grams of carbs, and it has like 1 gram of fat, right? For 2 scoops, 2 grams of fat, 4 grams of carbs, and 48 grams of protein. Like, that ratio is unbelievable. You can make pancakes out of it, protein pancakes, protein waffles, protein shakes, protein anything. And it's so good. I've never had a protein shake flavor that I like so much as I like Old School Labs, because each flavor tastes good. I like tiramisu, I like banana, I like vanilla, I like your chocolate. I like mint chocolate. They're all good. I recommend you guys use code JSINGER, capital J, capital SINGER, for 12% off on your order. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in episode 8.